Hi guys, it's Venus. And I've been saying I was going to shoot this video and demonstrate what I do when I do locks. A lot of people want to see the type of techniques and stuff that I do. I do a lot of different techniques. It depends on what the lock is doing and what people have going on. So you see how like this is how like a starter lock sometimes look all bushy and after a shampoo, how they swell and they get real bushy. Well, I started twisting here. And what I do is, because I don't like this bushy look. Some people like it, I don't. This is not something that I like. So I have my needle here, and this is a 1.00 needle. You can barely see the hook on that thing there. See it, hook? You can barely see it. I like the small hook when I start doing this because it pulls that hair right where I need it, when I need it to go, wherever I need it to go. So I'll sometimes start from the bottom and work my way up to the top with this, and then just getting in a good shape of what I want it to be like. So I just start at the bottom and work my way up, pulling these little hairs in, pulling them in, pulling them in, pulling them in, so I can start my shape. And I like when I get a little fuzzy on the outside. Some people tell you don't pull the fuzzies through. When you get to the end, when you tighten it down, you don't want to pull the fuzzies through. But when you start in your locks, you want the fuzz, because you want to take that hair and pull it around and pull it back through. You can see that the lock is already starting to form. So that's what I do when I begin. I start out with this little needle, just pulling little hairs through and getting it shaped. Once I get the shape that I want, then I switch my tools, because you'll be all day with that single needle, even though it gives you the best lock. And then I pull out my double-headed needle here, and then I work my way from top to bottom. And so I reach inside on top. I like the needles down, the points down. So when I reach inside here, I can feel that hair pull through there. See, the hair is caught. I feel it pull through there, and I pull back inside. And I come back around, and then I pull that hair out. 4, 5, and I'm working my way down. And I'm working my way down. Just pulling that hair inside. So once I get down to this part right here, because this is pretty big lock, so I wanted you to be able to see. I didn't want to do a small, tiny one, because it's harder to see on the tiny locks. So as you can see, when I pull here, you see how it's starting to shrink, it's getting small. It's because I'm pulling that hair in there, and I like it to be really compact. I don't like it to be loose. I like it to be really compact and tight. So when you wash it, you don't get weak areas right away, because I'm going to put an extension on this. Because a lot of people feel like you can only put an extension on short hair. You can only put it on 2 inches. I see people get their hair cut just to get a fake lock. And I'm like, why would you cut off your hair instead of just extending it and having an extended lock? But anyway, I'm going to show you how I put the locks on when I do extended locks. And so as you can see, I'm pulling down, coming on down. And it's all about control, because I learned really early on that doing like this and stabbing that hair, you will get all kinds of injuries. I ain't getting no injuries. I ain't on that. I only had to put that needle on my thumb one time to learn that is not the way. So I just work my way down this, keep shaping and shaping, and I want it to be round. I don't want it to be square, because if you keep going straight down in the same direction, you'll get a flat dread, and you don't want a flat dread. So you want to keep rotating as you go down. So as I go down, I rotate. And I rotate both ways. I go back this way, and then I go this way. I rotate both ways, so I get a perfect round lock. As you can see, I'm almost done with this lock. I'm coming down pretty quick here. And then I rotate forward, pull that hair through there, and then I come on down. And then if I feel it start to get flat, I rotate the other way, pull it around, and then I go on back in there and pull that hair back around. As you can see, my lock is nice and thick. Mannequins' hair always are, those hairs are thicker for whatever reason. They put so much hair on these mannequins so that you can learn how to do all kinds of stuff, cutting, trim, thinning, and all that stuff. So these mannequins always have extra hair in their heads. But as you can see, my lock is almost done. I'm coming on down. And you can see I got all this loose hair on the bottom. See here? Now I'm going to take this hair, wrap it around, put it back inside that lock because I don't want all that free hair on my lock. So I know a lot of people like to do that lock and twist in the root. I'm not a fan of that, but if that's what people want, I'll give it to them. I like natural locks. I like it to look like you've been growing that lock from your scalp from day one. So that's how I like to do my locks. I like to add them on the ends. Okay, so as you can see, that lock is about done. And what I do is, where's my lock? I take my lock here. So you see all this loose hair. And then I make sure this hair is loose. Get it all nice and fluffy. And then I lay these hairs together. So you see I got this extra hair that's super long right here. Watch what I do with that hair. I pull this hair around here, around this lock. I pull the straight hair from the lock in. And then I go in the center of this and I connect it from the center, right? So I connect from the center and I start rotating around here from the center. Turn it around, start pulling that hair in the middle, into the lock. And then once I get that secured in the center, and I can feel that most of my hair in that center of that lock is compact and is nice and tight, then I do a lock check and make sure that I got it on there real good before I move up or down my lock. I don't just put it on here and then start moving down. I like to make sure this part is really secure because this is the base of your lock. So I like to make sure this is really in there, really tight and really compact. So as you can see, it's in there. It's really tight and it's compact. It ain't going nowhere. And you can hear me pulling this thing. You see it popping. So once I get that on there like that, then I go back up here. And this is the most important part because this is where the hair and the lock becomes married. They marry right here. So we got to make sure that they look like they've been together for a long time. So we come in here and we're going to pull this hair in here. And I like to do it with the double needle. And then what I do is, once I get finished doing it with the double needle, I take my single needle and pull even tighter and get it nice and tight in the inside. Because I hate when it feels thick and then it gets skinny and soft and then it hard and skinny and then soft. I don't like that. I like it to feel the same way all the way down the lock. So as you can see, I'm moving down the lock now. I'm going down where all these wild hairs are. And then here's another trick I like to do. I'll take this hair and to give me extra security, I'll wrap this hair around here like this. Just to bring it to a close. And then I go through that middle of it and I just start locking that hair down right there. And I go all the way around that lock, locking all those little fine pieces of hair in. Some people cut those hairs off. I like them. I like to keep them because I feel like that's your security blanket, those little hairs, and make sure that everything is held together. So I like those little hairs. I like to make sure I pull them inside. I don't like cutting them off. It takes me a second longer to put them in, but they in there. And if I gotta cut something off, then it's because it's just I don't need it. Then I'll trim it off. But if I ain't gotta cut it off, I ain't cutting nothing off. I'm keeping every piece of it. Especially so this is a fake lock. So fake locks, I don't mind doing that. But if this was a human person's hair, I would never cut away hair because you need every strand. Every strand is important in a dreadlock. Every piece works together for something. So I just don't believe in cutting off the free hairs. Those hairs are so important to me. I just really can't cut them off. I won't do it. And so you see I got these little bitty hairs right here left. Put them around and put them inside. Put them inside the lock. So that part is up to you. If you want to hold on to those little extra fine pieces, I would. Especially if it's the person's hair, I hold on to those hairs and I put them inside the lock because what if they decide they don't want that lock? Even though that shouldn't be the case. But if it is, at least they'll be able to take their lock down and still have what they started with. You know, they won't have none chopped up and, you know, all jacked up hair. So as you can see, that lock is on there. And so I go back in with my little bitty needle and I just work my way up, tightening up all these little loose strands, making sure every strand is in its place. I face it down. I like to feel where I'm touching, feel where I'm going. Make sure I get all those little bitty hairs that I left out of there, put them all inside. And then I'm not a fan of the twists because they don't last long. When you know you have to palm roll to get it all tight down in the root, get it all super tight down here, and then you put the clip on it. I hate that so much because a lot of people do it so tight that the root get real skinny, and then all of this is still nice and thick. I don't like that. So I prefer crochet. I prefer to go in with a hook needle, latch hook needle, and tighten the root down that way. I don't like tightening the root down with with the what's the name of. And so here I see a lot of people doing this too. I can't. I like I said, I refuse. I injured myself way too many times to keep doing that. So I learned how to reach in here, make sure the hook is up, pull that hair inside, hold on to it, wrap around, pull inside. Go around this way, wrap around, pull those hairs inside. And that's what I do. I just wrap around and pull those hairs inside until they're all inside. And then I might do a couple little back and forths here just to make sure I'm pulling those hairs inside. That's about it. Making sure those hairs are secure on the inside. And that's all I do for my lock extensions. Some people braid them on. I do that for people who got extremely short hair. If they have extremely short hair and I know that they only working with 2 inches, then I'll braid it on and then take that hair, wrap it around it, and go in there with my little hook needle and make sure it's secure at the root here, just like how I secured it down here. Yeah, that's how I secure it. And then I take one of these latch hook needles and I just go underneath here and pull this lock through here, and it tightens it down to the root, and then it's good to go. And it still look nice and natural. You know, it'll look nice and neat from the scalp all the way down. And you kind of can't see because, like I said, these mannequins have thick hair, so you can see. But yeah, it's on there. This lock is not going anywhere. Lock is on there. And if I wanted to mess around, you know, like I said, this is demonstration. So like you can see a few little fuzzies. I would go back in there and just take my little hook needle and pull those fuzzies in there. I would never leave that on a regular if I was doing a whole head. Come on. You come in. I'm just shooting a video.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, do you think I should...
Oh, man. You see this girl, she gonna disturb my video anyway for a tutu. Do you hear me? Let me see. She made this, y'all. Look at her little tutu dress she made. Uh-oh, I made it go away. She be making little outfits and stuff on the thing. Let me see. Let me show. Why you keep doing stuff when I touch it? Make that go away.
Sorry,
there you go.
Kyla and Gigi, I think.
She made their outfits on here.
Do you think I should go with the normal character?
Yeah.
Or a sassy one?
Normal. I like normal characters. Alright guys, so that's that. So you can see how I attach, how I get it on there real good and tight. And if I want to take it out, I just take my little needle and take it apart, all these little bitty strands apart until they come loose, and then I have the dread to be out. And then so this is gonna be just this quick and simple video on how I attach locks and stuff. If you have questions, please put the questions in the comments, and I'll make a video on showing you what to do or how you need to fix it or how you need to prepare a lock. I can do that too. And one thing I do want to cover is I've seen a lot of people doing when locks are hanging on by one strand, people cut that strand off and reattach the lock. That strand is the only strand that's holding that lock on and been holding that lock on for how long? You don't take that strand off. That strand is important to that lock because it is done held that strand, that held that lock down for however long it was hanging on. It's a very strong piece of hair. Don't cut that hair off because it's one strand. That one strand is what's holding this whole lock on the head. So this is a important strand. So you want to keep hold to these strands. And so let's say this was a jacked up lock. You would take that bottom of that good hair that's left on that one strand. You would pull all those hairs together, fold that lock up, and then you take your hook needle or your little needle, whichever one you prefer, and you put that lock back together. And it might be shorter than the other lock, but guess what? It's going to be even stronger than it was before you did that. You know what I'm saying? So don't cut away the strong piece of hair just because it's a single piece by itself. You want to keep that piece because that's strong. That's a strong piece of hair, and it's been holding you down all these twists. Every time you go get your hair twisted until it breaks off, that one piece was the only piece that was strong enough to hold on, to hold that lock. Don't ever get rid of your strong hair. That hair is important to the lock. So you want to make sure you keep all those hairs. Don't just cut them off because it look raggedy or it look crazy. You got to think of it like that's differently. You got to think that lock is strong. And that one piece of hair been holding that lock on all that time. And then here you come and gonna cut it off. No. Hold on to that lock. Add that hair to that lock. All you gotta do is bend that hair up and crochet that hair together, and it's gonna be even stronger than it is, before you even attach them. So it's important to not tear those up. You know what? And I was gonna do this other. I'm gonna go ahead and do it so you guys can see it in color. So let me show you. So if I was gonna start another lock, I would just do this. I would just take my little comb, my little metal comb, and then just back comb this hairs up and get those hairs nice and fluffed. Fluff. Now, a lot of people I see try to do it real tight and be doing like this. You don't want it to be tight, not yet, because you got a lot of work to do. And the tighter that you got this hair back home, the harder it is for you to get your needle in there to go back and forth. That's why people stab themselves, because they're trying to get that needle through that tight hair. You don't want it that tight yet. You got a long way to go. You just getting started. You don't need this hair that tight yet. You just need to fluff it. So fluff this hair up. And it depends on the customer. So if they want to keep their length as best they can, then you can lightly just go all the way around. And see how I'm saving the length? I'm just lightly going around and I'm saving that length. You can do, that's how you save your length. You don't have to cut it all off. You just use what's already back home to build off of. So you see I'm building off of that, what's already loose and what's already back home. So you see I still kept all that length instead of making that so tight right away. And so I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to start back combing this way. Take what you already got and make it work for what you needed to do. You see there? And that way you just back combing the same hairs as already back combed. And then you just going to fluff off the tip. And so you going to, in the end, you're going to bend this hair down, bend this hair around. That's going to form your bottom of your tip. Look at all the length that we was able to keep. But if I'd have back combed it like how everybody back combing it, I can make this lock this short, But you want to hold on to some of the length. You just need to pull it back down once you back comb it. If you see it's getting too short, pull it down. Because the kinkier this hair is, the better anyway. You want this hair to be kinky because you finna put a lock in it. So, but you can still preserve some of the length. You don't have to take it all away. You see there? And then now I got all this hair that I can build with and make a lock with. See there? So I got all this hair. And when I don't like to start with my roots. I know a lot of people like to start tightening the root up first and then they come down here. I don't do that because I feel like you putting too much stress on the root already, and then still got to go, all this got to go in that lock. So I like to start at the bottom. I don't know, it's just that's just something that I do. And I like doing needle down. Some people say do needle up, but I like feeling the hair leave my fingers. I like pulling it out and pulling it out and pulling it out and pulling it out. I like feeling it, because then I know I'm pulling hairs. I'm getting hairs. I'm getting hairs. I'm getting hairs. I'm pulling them in and pulling them out. Pulling them in and pulling them out. And I know that I'm starting to lock here. I know I'm getting hairs going in there. And I just travel up there, pulling them hairs in there. And then when I come up here, as I get all this worked up, once all this is looking nice and neat and together, then I put down that and I come in with my double-headed needle. And like I told you, I like my needles down, so I always check first. So I don't put that in my thumb thinking it's down and it's not. Then I come on the side right here. I pull up, around, and pull this hair inside of here. And then I back, and then I, pull. And then I start my root. And I don't want it tight to the root yet, because like I said, I got to go all the way down this lock. I don't want that tight on the scalp, and I'm up here pulling and tugging. So I just want it nice and together. See there? I just want it together there. I don't want to have it tight on the scalp yet. So then I just work my way down. Work my way down. And then I feel like it's getting flat, I flip it, turn it around, spin it around. I want to keep it round. I see a lot of people spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And then you do all that spinning, you think you're doing something, and then when you look back, you got a whole lock that ain't together. So you want to take your time and get your lock together, get your shape right first. And then once you get your shape right, then you move on. Because this the whole base of the lock. You want to, this lock, this part of the lock right here where I'm holding, this the foundation of the lock. If it's going to be a skinny lock, a chunky lock, a fat lock, a freeform lock, whatever, you're going to start your base right here. So even if it was a wick and you wanted a big wick, you're going to start right here, because you want to get your base set for what you want the end to look like. So that's why I always start here. I get it nice and fluffy, and then I come into the root, and then I get this where I want it. Once I get this the size I want it, and I'm happy with it, then I move down the lock. Start making my shape, forming it on, coming on down, getting it the way I want it to look. Come on down. Now I turn it a little bit. Come on down, putting that hair in there. Sometimes I like to reach up and reach down, just to make sure I've got my formation going real good, so I ain't just doing this for the heck of it. See there? And then I'll turn it just to make sure I'm getting hairs that need to be gone. I ain't missing no hairs on the back side. Looking crazy. Yeah, and then I come on down the lock. Down the lock. Come on down this lock. I feel those hairs leaving me. And see, I don't like to keep twisting in one direction, because then you find out later that you didn't get everything somewhere. So I like to turn it back the other way and twist too. Come on down with it. Come on down with it. See how my lock is staying? The formation is staying. It's staying. And then I can go back and make this even tighter. All I got to do is compact it, make it even tighter. And I just come on down, come on down, come on down. Turn it. You don't want a flat lock. Come on down, come on down. Now I didn't remember, I didn't fluff this bottom part too much, because I wanted to keep my length. But now the customer says, you know what, go ahead and then extend my lock. I want a color tip on the bottom. Okay, well, I can do that too, even though she decided that at the last minute. We can do that too. Ain't nothing to do it, but to do it. So let's demonstrate that. So anyway, I'm gonna stop here, because this is just demonstration purposes. It don't have to be super perfect. And then I'm gonna come in with the artificial lock. As you can see, this lock is smaller than what she's working with, but you know, we can make it work. I'm just using it for demonstration purposes. So you see how sometimes this hair comes and it's like little balls. You just take the comb and loosen it up. You need to comb it out, get that hair loose. Get it loose because we need that hair free to attach it. All right, now that hair is free. And then where we going to attach? Wherever you want it. However long you want to come to the end, then come down here to the end. If you want it up here a little higher, then you can come up here a little higher. And then you can use this hair to like seal off. So let's say you don't want that mixed black and brown mix. Sometimes people don't take the time to look at that. And you can see like this part to be brown, this part to be black. It's up to the customer really. Sometimes people want all that stuff. So I'll just leave that up to the customer. And so what I would do is put this in here, and then I'll take and leave some of this end free. And then when I get finished attaching this to the lock, I'll take this end and cover up the top part so it'll be black, brown. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have a bunch of tones popping off all over the place. It don't look crazy. So see, I take that hair and wrap it around like that. Pull that hair in there. In the center part, remember I told you, build from the center first. Get that center the way you like it. Because this is where the foundation for that lock attachment is at. So you want to make sure that's good and tight. Get it in there real good. I get it on there real good. And then I come up here a little higher. And then I start working up here. Remember, I come up high first and work high. I don't work low. I work high first. Make sure I got it looking consistent all the way down. And then I go to the bottom part and attach that bottom piece on there. And it's make it seamless. So remember, I didn't tighten this up here like I was supposed to because we were just demonstrating, but I would normally make this just as tight as the lock so it'll look consistent all the way down. Okay, so we're going to come on down here and do this demonstration with the bottom. I'm going to get close so you guys can see what it looked like. And then when I get down here, so I'll show you what I mean. So there's a little piece of brown right here I left out showing. So what I do with that hair right there, when that brown is showing and I want it black, that's what I do with the end of this hair that's left over. I take this hair that's left over, and I ain't finished. You see, I ain't finished that lock in there yet, but I would normally finish that lock, and whatever finished, whatever left over, I would just wrap it around the lock to hide whatever brown is showing. And you know, that hair is straight, so I got to really go in here, and I didn't back comb that tip part, remember, because I was going to round it off, but because we're doing this added on tip, we're going to just put it in here. Okay, so we're going to spin this lock around and add the color on there. Hold on to that color, that straight tip. Put that straight tip in there. Can you see that straight tip still hanging out there? Yeah, I'm locking it down. I'll get that little tip last in a minute. I just want to make sure my base is all together. See how the lock start getting tight? When it start getting tight, you can barely get this needle in there. That's how people get injured. Start stabbing. You got to go slow. Control the needle. Control where you putting that hair at. Don't just be yanking that hair through there. You'll put that needle in your darn thumb. It don't feel good either. It hurt like a son of a gun. So anyway, that's what I do. And I'm going to leave it open here a little bit so you can see what I mean. I'm going to leave this little piece open. All right, let me tuck this in here right quick. Let me finish this up right quick so you guys can see it up close. I'm just tightening it up so it'll make sense when you see it. It ain't just loose. Because I like my locks to be consistent all the way down. Okay. So I left this little piece loose here so you can see the difference. Okay. Now let me pick this up. Okay. So as you can see, that's the top of the lock. I ain't tightened that all the way down to the base. This is where we started the lock at right here. And it come all the way down. See there? And then this the part right here that I was talking about. So sometimes people put it on, you can see. Can you see that brown? You can see the brown showing through right here. See the brown? The brown show through. I need to get me a ring light back here. But that brown shows through there. And so I see how I left this loose. So I can take it loose and show you if I needed to. That's that straight hair. See, it's already looking like the lock. But that's what it looked like. And this is what the other one looked like up close. See there? You can see like how normally I would go back in here and take my little skinny needle and make this tight as the end of this lock. Make this tight. I get rid of all these hairs and put inside the lock. But this is a demonstration. I don't want to lock this hair on this mannequin yet because I want to be able to demonstrate on her again. And it take a few minutes to take a loose. I didn't want to do all that, but you get the point. And then you can see real good right here. Let me take her off. I think you can see real good. Can you see how tight I got that? Nope, you can't. I'm trying to get a good angle here so you can see how tight that root is. I got that root on there real good. But you can't hardly see it. The light sucks. See there how tight it is in the neck? It's tight. It ain't even to the root yet. And imagine when I put it all the way to the root, it's gonna be nice and neat and tight. So yeah, I'm gonna get the ring light out and see if I can see. I thought this light would be really bright. Let me see if I loosen her up, make her fall forward. Yeah, see there? You can see it's all the way to the base. All the way to the base. It's all the way to the base. Yep. So I just wanted to demonstrate that. And then look at my locks. Then we're going to demonstrate how to, I call it fluffing. So what happens is when you have those single strand locks, and you know, sometimes, like I said, people cut them off and then reattach a lock. I can show you how to fluff that strand, get that strand fluff, and then make it thick enough that actually you don't even have to add no hair to it. That you can fluff it, even though it's long, because see that hair be stretched out like this. I'm going to show you how to take these little needle and fluff that hair up. And you can fluff it enough that it'll be the same size as the rest of the lock. And a lot of people be like, how you do that? I'm going to show you how to do it. And it works like a charm. And that lock will be strong. Because I have 2 of them that I had to do that too. You can see I need to retighten my, this is my new growth coming in. So I usually go in with my little needle and do. Because you see I don't have all that hair on, loose hairs all over the place. I don't have all that loose hair. As I keep it all tamed up real nice. I go in with my needles. See, I don't have all that fuzzy hair. I don't have all them fat bubbles that people get, because I go in and I tighten that stuff up with my needles and make sure that my hair ain't fluffy and fuzzy. That's my whole lot. See, I don't have all that fuzzy. On none of my locks. I take my time. See how sometimes it get like that, I have to go in. See here? I get fuzzies too. I go in, I put this hair inside the lock with my needle. And I don't wrap it around. Because wrapping this hair around these locks, girl, please, that hair ain't going to do nothing but come right back loose. It's a waste of money, time, and everything. Do it right so that the customer can be happy with the hair. Like, I can take a shower, get my hair wet, and I don't have to worry about my hair fuzzing. Because I took the time to put all those little strands inside my locks. So I don't have to worry about that. See there? I don't have to worry about my hair fuzzing and stuff, because it won't. And if it do, it's something real small and minor that I can just go in with my little needle and be done. So, and I tighten my roots up with this. A lot of people, I use this or either a locking tool, but I like mine's crochet because I ain't got time for that twist to be unraveling, retwisting my hair every 2 weeks and all that stuff. I ain't got time for that. So I like my hair done nice and tame so I don't have to fool with it. See there? Nice and tame. My roots need to be, it's time for me to touch up my roots because you can't even see my scalp, but yeah, I like my roots nice and tight. See there? See, yeah, you can see here. Look at all that root. I gotta tighten my roots up. But you don't see all that fuzzy? You don't see all that fuzzy stuff? I don't play that. I can't stand it. I make sure I get in there and get all that fuzzy stuff put inside the lock. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to do that video. I have more videos coming. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. I'm going to show you all my tips and tricks so you guys can know how I do what I do. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. You guys keep watching. I'm going to keep posting. Peace.